2 Kings chapter 3. Now Jehoram the son of Ahab began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. And he wrought evil in the sight of the Lord, but not like his father and like his mother. For he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom from lambs and 100,000 rams with the wool. But it came to pass, when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Edom. The king When Ahab was dead, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel, and King Jehoram went out of Samaria the same time and numbered all Israel. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat the king of Judah, saying, The king of Moab hath rebelled against Moab to battle. The king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art. My people are thy people. My horses are thy horses. And he said, Which way shall we go up? And he answered, The way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the kings of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey. And there was no water for the host and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, Alas, that the Lord hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered him and said, Here is Elisha the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, The word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophet of thy father, and to the prophet of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, Nay, for the Lord hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. And he said, Thus saith the Lord, make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith the Lord, ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain, that the valley shall be filled, yet the valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites into your hand. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all the wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, and behold, there came by water the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward, and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, This is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man a stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kiharaseth left they stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too fierce, too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. Chapter 4. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophet unto Elisha, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord. And the creditor is come to take unto him my sons to be bondmen. And Elisha said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? And she said, Thine handmaid hath not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art coming, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, and brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more, and the oil stayed. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, Go, sell the oil, and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shushem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed, he turned in thither to eat bread. And she said unto her husband, Behold, now I perceive that this is a holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall return in hither. And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said unto Gehazi his servant, Call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, he stood before him. And he said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done to thee? Wouldest thou be spoken for to the king or the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among my own people. And he said, What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, Verily she hath no child, and her husband is old. And he said, Call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door, and he said, About this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, Nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thy handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to a lad, Carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God and shut the door upon him and went out. And she called unto her husband and said, Send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may return to the man of God and come again. And he said, Wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, It shall be well. Then she saddled an ass and said to her servant, Drive and go forward, and slack not thy riding for me, except I bid thee. So she went and came unto the man of God to Mount Carmel. And it came to pass that when the man of God saw her far off, he said to Gehazi, Behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say unto her, Is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with thy child? And she answered, It is well. And when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught him by the feet, but Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of God said, Let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Lord hath hid from me, and hath not told me. Then she said, Did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, Do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, Gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thine hand, and go thy way. If thou meet a man, salute him not, and if any salute thee, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child, but there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him, and told him, saying, The child is not awake. And Elisha was come into the house. Behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto the Lord. And he went up and lay upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, call this Shunammite. So he called her. And when she was coming unto him, he said, take up thy son. Then she went in and fell at his feet, and bowed herself to the ground, and took up her son and went out. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was a dearth in the land. And the sons of the prophet were sitting before him. And he said unto his servant, set on the great pot, and seed pottage for the sons of the prophet. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered thereof wild gourds, his lap full, and came and shred them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. So they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass, as they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of God, there is death in the pot. And they could not eat thereof. But he said, then bring meal. And he cast it into the pot. And he said, pour out for the people that they may eat. And there was no harm in the pot. And there came a man from Baal Shalisha, and brought the man of God bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn in the husk thereof. And he said, give unto the people that they may eat. And his servitor said, what shall I set before these 100 men? He said again, give the people that they may eat, for thus saith the Lord, they shall eat and shall live thereof. So he set it before them, and they did eat and left thereof, according to the word of the Lord. Chapter 5. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given great deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would God my Lord were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus saith the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took him with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, am I God to kill and make alive, that this man doth said unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elisha the man of God heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariots, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, behold, I thought, he will surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servant came near and spake unto him, and said, my father, if the prophet bid thee to do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather when he said, wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, as the Lord liveth before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burdens of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. In this thing the Lord pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master had spared Naaman this Syrian, in not receiving at his hands that which he brought, but as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and Naaman saw him running after him. He lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be more come to me from Ephraim, 2 young men of the sons of the prophet. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of raiment. But Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with change of raiment, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, that they bear them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, When went not my heart with thee? And when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and to receive olive yards, and to receive vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servant, and maid servant? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. Chapter 6. And the sons of the prophet said unto Elisha, Behold, now the place where we thee is too straight, dwell with thee is too straight for us. Let us go, we pray thee, unto Jordan, and take thence every man a beam. And let us make us a place there where we may dwell. And he answered, Go ye. And one said, Be content, I pray thee, and go with thy servant. And he answered, I will go. So he went with them, and when they came to Jordan, they cut down wood. But as one was felling a beam, the axe head fell into the water. And he cried and said, Alas, master, for it was borrowed. And the man of God said, Where fell it? And he showed him the place. And he cut down a stick and cast it in thither. And the iron did swim. And therefore said he, Take it up to thee. And he put out his hand and took it. Then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, In such and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of God said unto the king of Israel, saying, Beware that thou pass not such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of God told him and warned him of, and saved himself there, not once, not twice. Therefore the heart of the king of Syria was so troubled for this thing. And he called his servant and said unto them, Will ye not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, None, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And he said, Go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And he was told him, saying, Behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and great hosts. They came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that will be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, O Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto the Lord and said, Smite these people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness, according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said unto them, This is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom ye seek. But he led them to Samaria. And it came to pass, when they were coming to Samaria, that Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men, that they may see. And the Lord opened their eyes, and they saw. And behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. And the king of Israel said unto Elisha, when he saw them, My father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? And he answered and said, Thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite with whom thou taken captive with thy sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink, and go to their master. And he prepared great provision for them. And when they had eaten and drunk, he sent them away, and they went to their master. So the bands of Syria came no more into the land of Israel. And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 4 pieces of silver, 4 pieces of silver, and the 4th part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried the woman unto him, Help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord does not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? And the king of Israel, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes and he passed upon the wall and looked, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth upon his flesh. Then he said, God, do so, and more also to me, if the head of Elisha the son of Shaphat shall stand on him this day. But Elisha sat in his house, and the elders sat with him. And the king sent a man from before him. But ere the messenger came to him, he said to the elder, see how this son of a murderer hath sent to take away my head. Look, when the messenger cometh, shut the door and hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him? And while he yet talked with them, behold, the messenger came down unto him, and he said, behold, this evil is of the Lord. What should I wait for thee any longer? Chapter 7. Then Elisha said, hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria. Then the Lord on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God and said, behold, if the Lord would make windows in heaven, might this thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And there were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate. And they said one to another, why sit we here until we die? If we say we will enter into the city, then famine is in the city, and we shall die there. Now, and if we sit still here, we die also. Now, therefore, come, let us fall into the hands of the host of the Syrians. If they save us alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall but die. And they rose up in the twilight and to go on to the camp of the Syrians. And when they were come to the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord had made the host of the Syrians to hear a noise of chariots and a noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said one to another, lo, the king of Israel hath hired us against the king of the Hittites and the king of the Egyptians to come upon us. Wherefore they arose and fled in twilight, and they left their tents and left their horses and their assets, even the camp as it was, and fled for their life. And when these lepers came to the uttermost part of the camp, they went into the tent and did eat and drink, and carried thence silver and gold and raiment, and went and hid it, and came again and entered into another tent, and carried it then also, and went and hid it. Then they said one to another, we do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come, that we may go and tell the king's household. So they came and called unto the porter of the city, and they told them, saying, we came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied, and the asses tied, and the tents were as they were. And he called the porters, and they told it to the king's house within. And the king arose in the night and said unto the servants, I will now show you what the Syrians have done to us. They know that we be hungry, therefore they are gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive and go into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, let some take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, they are as all multitude of Israel that left in it. Behold, I say, they are even as all the multitude of Israel that are consumed, and let us send and see. They took therefore 2 chariots, and the king sent after the host of the Syrians, go and see. And they went after them unto Jordan, and lo, the way was full of garments and vessels, and the Syrians had cast away in haste. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people were out and spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley, for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. And the king appointed the Lord, on whose hand the king leaned, to have the charge of the gate. And the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died, as the man of God had said, who spoke when the king came down to him. And it came to pass, as the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel, shall be tomorrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. And that Lord answered the man of God and said, now, behold, if the Lord should make windows in heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see with thy eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And so it fell unto him, for the people trod upon him in the gate, that he died. Chapter 8. Then spake Elisha unto the woman whose son he had restored unto life, saying, Arise, go thou and thine household, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn, for the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land 7 years. And the woman arose and did after the saying of the man of God, and she went with her household and sojourned in the land of the Philistines 7 years. And it came to pass at the 7 years end, that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. And the king told Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray thee, all the great things that Elisha had done. And it came to pass that as he was telling the king how he had restored a dead boy to life, that behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life cried to the king from her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, My lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elisha restored to life. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruit of the field since the day that she had left the land, even until now. And Elisha came to Damascus, and Ben-Hadad the king of Syria was sick, and it was told him, saying, The man of God is come thither. And the king said unto Hazael, Take a present in thy hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? So Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels of burden, and came and stood before him, and said, Thy son Ben-Hadad king of Syria hath sent me to thee, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? And Elisha said unto him, Go, say to him, Thou mayest truly certainly recover. Howbeit the Lord hath shown me that he shall surely die. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. And as I said, Why weepeth my Lord? He answered, Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Thy strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and will dash their children and reap their women with child. And Isaiah said, But what is thy servant a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elisha answered, The Lord hath shown me that thou shalt be king over Syria. So he departed from Elisha and came to his master, who said to him, What said Elisha to thee? And he answered, He told me that thou shouldest surely recover. And it came to pass on the morrow that he took a thick cloth and dipped it in water and spread it on his face, so that he died, and Hazael reigned in his stead. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat being then king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, was king of Judah, and he began to rise. He began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab for the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet the Lord would not destroy Judah for David his servant's sake, as he promised him to give him always a light, and to his children. In his days, Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves. So Joram went over to Zer, and all the chariots with him, and he rose by night and smote the Edomites which compassed him about, and captains of the chariots, and the people fled into their tents. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time, and the rest of the acts of Joram and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Judah? And Joram slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Ahaziah his son reigned in his stead. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, the king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, finish it. And son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. 22 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign. And he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. And he went with Joram the son of Ahab to war against Hazael king of Syria in Ramoth Gilead. And the Syrians wounded Joram. And King Joram went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael king of Syria, and Hazael son of Jehoram king of Judah, and went down to Sidon, the son of Ahab in Jezreel, because he was sick. Chapter 9. And Elisha the prophet called one of the children of the prophets, and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take for thee Take this box of oil in thine hand and go to Ramoth Gilead. And when thou comest thither, look out there Jehu the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, to go in and make him arise up among his brethren and carry him to an inner chamber. Then take the box of oil and pour it on his head and say, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then open the door and flee and tarry not. So the young man, even the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead, and he came, and behold, the captain of the host was sitting, and he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jehu, unto which of us? And he said, To thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said to him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophet, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord at the hand of Jezebel. For the whole armor of the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. And the dog shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. Then Jehu came forth to his servants, the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore camest this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto him, Ye know the man and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us how. And he said, Thus and thus spake he unto me, saying, Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hasted and took every man his garment and put it under him in the top of the stairs and blew trumpets, saying, Jehu is king. So Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram hath kept Ramoth Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Hazael, king of Syria. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians have given him. When he fought with Hazael, king of Syria, and Jehu said, If it be your minds, let none go forth nor escape out of the city to go tell it in Jezreel. So Jehu rode in a chariot, and he went to Jezreel, and Joram lay there, and Ahaziah king of Judah was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, Take an horseman and send to meet him, and let him say, Is it peace? So there went one on the horseback to meet him, saying, Thus said the king, Is it peace? And Jehu said, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to him, but he cometh not again. Then he sent out a second on horseback, which came to them and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? And Jehu answered, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, He came unto them and cometh not again. And driving is like the driving of the Jehu, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously. And Joram said, Make ready. And his chariot was made ready. And Joram king of Israel and Ahaziah king of Judah went out, each in his chariot, and they went out against Jehu and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, Is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, What peace? So long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcraft are so many. And Joram turned his hands and fled and said to Ahaziah, This is treachery, O Ahaziah. And Jehu drew a bow with his full length and smote Jordan between his arms. And the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captains, Take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, that the Lord laid this burden upon me. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons, said the Lord, and I will requite thee in this plat, said the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him into the plat of ground, according to the word of the Lord. But when Ahaziah king of Judah saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house, and Jehu followed after him, and said, Smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gore, which is by Ibleam. And he fled Megiddo and died there. And his servants carried him in the chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in the sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Joram the son of Ahab began Ahaziah to reign over Judah. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it. And she painted her face and tried her hand and looked out a window. And when Jehu entered in at the gate, she said to Zimri, peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? And there looked out on him 2 to 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on her wall, and some of them blood was sprinkled on the wall and the horses, and he threw her underfoot. And when he was coming, he did eat and drink, and said, go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and her feet and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, he said, this is the word of the Lord, which is spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that thy so that they shall not stay. This is Jezebel. Chapter 10. And Ahab sent 70 sons of in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria unto the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders and to them that brought up Ahab's children, saying, now as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's sons are with you, there are with you chariots and horses, a fenced city also, and armor. Look even out the best meetest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and for your master. Fight for your master's house. But they were exceedingly afraid, and said, behold, 2 kings stood not before him. How then shall we stand? And he that was over the house, and he that was over the city, and the elders also, and the bringers up of the children, sent to Jehu, saying, we are thy servants, and will do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not we will not make any king. That do thou that which shall be good in thine ears. Then he wrote a letter. The second time, saying, if he be mine, if he will hearken unto my voice, take ye the heads of the men of your master's sons, and come to me to Jezreel by tomorrow this time. Now the king's sons, being 70 persons, were with the great men of the city which brought them up. And it came to pass, when the letter came to them, that they took the king's sons and slew 70 persons, and put their heads in the baskets, and sent them to Jezreel. And there came a messenger and told him, saying, they have brought the heads of the king's sons. And he said, lay them out in 2 heaps at the entering in of the gate until the morning. And it came to pass in the morning that he went out and stood, and said to all the people, ye be righteous. Behold, I conspired against thee. And it came to pass in the morning that he went out and stood and said, ye be righteous, I have conspired against my master and slain, but who slew all this? Know that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of the Lord, which the Lord spake concerning the house of Ahab. For the Lord had done that which he spake by his servant Elijah. So Jehu slew all that remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel. And he arose and departed and came into Samaria, and he was okay. And it came to pass, as he was sharing house in the way, Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, the king of Judah, and said, who are ye? And they answered, we are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen. And he said, take them alive. And they took them alive and slew them at the pit of the sharing of the house, even 42 men, neither let they any of them. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jeconiah, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him, and he saluted him and said to him, is thy heart And when he was departed thence, he lighted upon Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him, and he saluted him and said to him, is thine heart right as my heart is right with thee? And Jehonadab answered, it is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up into the chariot, and he said, come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. So they made him ride on his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spoke to Elijah. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him much. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and all his priests, and let none be wanting for I have great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whoever shall be willing to. And Jehu sent through Israel, and the worshippers of Baal came, and there came not a man left out. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, Bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments. And Jehu went, and Jehonadab the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, Search and look that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only. And they went into to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, and Jehu appointed fourscore men without. And they said, If any of the men be whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him. And it shall come, and it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of the offering of the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captives, Go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and guarded them with the normal guard. And they brought forth images out of the house of Baal and burned them. And they break down the image of Baal and break down the house of Baal and made it a drought unto this day. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel, albeit from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, whom Israel made to sin. Jehu departed not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. And the Lord said unto Jehu, Because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in my eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to, I see it as a family house, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in thine heart, that the children of your fourth generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. But Jehu took But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord God of Israel with all his heart, for he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which he made Israel to sin. In those days, the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coast thereof in Israel, from Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, and the Gadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Ariel, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu and all that he did and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehu slept with his fathers, that they buried him in Samaria, and Jehoahaz is his son buried in his stead. And when Athaliah, chapter 11, when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. But Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash the son of Ahaziah and stole him from among the king's sons which were slain, and they hid him. Even Joash the son of Ahaziah stole him from among the king's sons which were slain, then hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land. And the 7th year Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds, with the captains. And when he was with her, he laid with her in the house 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land. And the 7th year Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds, with the captains and the guard, and brought them into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath in them of the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. And he commanded them, saying, This is the thing that ye shall do, and the part of you that shall enter in on the Sabbath. And you And he commanded them, saying, This is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you shall enter in on the Sabbath, and shall be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And the third part shall be at the gate of Saul, and the third part shall be gate behind the guard. So shall he keep. And two parts of you shall go forth on Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And he shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hands, and that cometh within the ranges, and let him be slain, and be with kings as he goeth out, and as he cometh in. And the captains over hundreds did according to all the things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were come in on the Sabbath, with them that should go out on the Sabbath, that came Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hands, round about the king from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar of the temple. And he brought forth the king's son, and put the crown upon him, and gave him testimony. And they brought him the king, and he anointed him. And they clapped their hands to engage well. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpets by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the trumpeters by the king. And the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets, and Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, Treason, treason. Behold, Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds of the officers of the host, and said to him, Have her forth with the rangers, and him that followed her kill with the sword. For the priest had said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. And they laid hands on her, and she went out by the way which the house came into the house, the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people between the king and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and break it down, his altars and his images break they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan, the priest of Baal, before. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king, and said that they should be with the Lord's people, between the king and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and break it down, his altars and his images they break in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan the priest of Baal before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took rulers over hundreds, and captains and guard, and all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord. And they came by the way of the gate of the king's house, and he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house, and 7 hours in the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over hundreds, the captain, guard of the people of the land, brought it down from the king of the house by the way of the gates of God, and he set it on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign. Chapter 12. In the 7th year of Jehoash began to reign, and 40 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Jehoash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all his days, wherein Jehoiada was priest. The priest instructed him. But the high places were not yet taken away. The people still sanctified, but and burnt incense in the high places. And Jehoash said to the priest, all the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Lord, even the money of everyone that passeth the account, the money that every man is set, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart, to bring into the house of the Lord. Let the priest take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house, wheresoever any breach be found. But it was so that in the 3 and 20th year, King Joash and the priests had not repaired the breaches of the house. Then King Joash called for Jehoiada the priest and other priests and said unto them, why repair ye not the breach of the house? Now therefore receive no money of your acquaintance, but deliver it for the breaches of the house. And the priest consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest and bored a hole in the lid of it and set it beside the altar on the right side as one cometh into the house of the Lord. And the priest that kept the door put therein all the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. I didn't see touch it or take it. And it was so when they said that there was much money in the chest that the king's scribe and the high priest came up and put in the bags and told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. And they gave the money, being told, into the hands of them that did the work and the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they laid it out, the carpenters and builders. And they gave the money, being told, into the hands of them that did the work and the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they laid it out, the carpenters and the builders that wrought upon the house of the Lord, and to masons and hewers of stone, to buy timber and hewed stone, to repair the breaches of the house of the Lord, and for all that was laid for the house to repair it. Howbeit there were not made for the house of the Lord bowls of silver, gold. Howbeit there were not made for the house the vessels of the Lord bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, any vessels of gold or vessels of silver, or the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave to the workmen and repaired therewith the house of the Lord. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hand they delivered the money to be bestowed on workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord, it was priests. Then Hazael king of Syria went up and fought against Gath and took it. And Hazael set up his face to go up to Jerusalem. He set up his face to go to Jerusalem. And the rest, and King Jehoash, the king of Judah, took all the hallowed things of that Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Isaiah his father's king of Judah had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of the Lord and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael king of Syria, and he went away and from Jerusalem. And the rest of the acts and all that he did, are they not in the book of Chronicles of Kings and his servants Judah? And the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the king of Judah? And his servants arose and made conspiracy, and they slew Joash in the house of Milo, which goeth down to Selah. For Josachar the son of Shemeth and Jehozabad the son of Shomer, his servant, smote him, and he died. And they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Amaziah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 13. In the 3 and 20th year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, the king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed all the sins of Jeroboam of Nebat, which made Israel. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin, so he departed thereon. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. He delivered them into the hand of Hazael king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hazar the son of Hazael all their days. And Jehoahaz besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel because of the king of Syria, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein, and there remained the grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave of the people to Jehoahaz but 50 horsemen, and 10 chariots, and 10,000 footmen. For the king of Syria had destroyed them, and he made them like the dust by threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, and all that he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the prophets of kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. And Joash the son reigned in his stead. And in the 30th and 7th year of Joash, the king of Judah, began Joash, the son of Joash, to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all that he did, and his might wherewith he fought against Amaziah king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, wherefore he died. And Joash the king of Israel come down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hand upon the king's hands. And he said, open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, shoot. And he shot. And he said, the arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek till thou have consumed them. And he said, take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, smite upon the ground that he may smite that. And he smote thrice and stayed. Smite upon the ground, and he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him, and said, thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then hast thou smitten Samaria till thou hast consumed me. Whereas now thou shalt smite Samaria but thrice, Syria but thrice. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land the coming in of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was laid down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood up on his feet. But Hazael king of Syria oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. So Hazael the king of Syria died, and Ben-Hadad his son reigned in his stead. And Joash the, the son of Joash took again out of the land Ben-Hadad the son of Hazael the cities, which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz his father by war. 3 times did Jehoash beat him, and recover the cities of Israel. Chapter 14. In the 2nd year of Jehoahaz the son of Jehoahaz, the king of Israel, reigned Amaziah the son of Jehoash king of Judah. He was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. He did according to all things as Joash his father did. Howbeit, the high places were not taken away, and as yet the people did sacrifice and burnt incense on the high places. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was conferred in his servant, in his hand, that he slew his servant, which he has slain with the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto them that which is written in the book of the law of Moses. Herein the Lord commanded, saying, the father shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. He slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000, and took Selah by war, and called the name of it Joktheel unto this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, come, let us look one another in the face. And Jehoahaz the king of Israel sent unto Amaziah king of Judah, saying, this the thistle that was in Lebanon sent unto the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast in Lebanon, and threw down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thy heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy heart, that thou shouldest fall, even thou and all Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear. Therefore Jehoash the king of Israel went up, and he and Amaziah king of Judah looked one to another in the face of Bethshemesh, which belonged to Judah. And Judah was put up to the worst before Israel, and they fled every man to their tent. And Jehoash king of Israel took Amaziah king of Judah, and Jehoash the son of Ahaziah at Bethshemesh, and came to Jerusalem, and break down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim unto the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver and all the vessels that were found in the house of the Lord and in the treasures of the king's house and those stages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of the Jehoash, which he did, and his might, and how he fought with Amaziah the king of Judah, are they not written? And Jehoash slept with his fathers and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel, and Joram his son reigned in his stead. And Amaziah the son of Jehoash king of Judah lived after the death of Jehoash the son of Jehoash king of Israel 15 years. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Judah? Now they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish and slew him there. And they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, which was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Elath and restored it to Judah. And after that, the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, the king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, the king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria, and he reigned 41 years. And he did that which was even in the sight of the Lord, and he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering in of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he spoke by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gathhepher. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter, for there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said not that he would blot out the name of Israel under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, and all that he did, and his might, and how he warred, and how he recovered Damascus and Hamath, which belonged to Judah for Israel, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the kings of Israel, and Zechariah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 15. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign. 16 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 250 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jecoliah, and he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, save that the high places were not removed, and the people sacrificed burnt offering of incense in high places. And the Lord smote the king, so that he was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house. And Jotham the king's son was over the house, judging the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Jotham his son reigned in his stead. In the 38th year of Azariah king of Judah, did Zechariah the son of Jeroboam reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, as his fathers had done, and he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Shallum the son of Jabesh conspired against him, and smote him before the people, and slew him, and reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles, the kings of Israel? That this was the word of the Lord, which came and spoke unto the sons shall sit on the throne of Israel unto the fourth generation. And so it came to pass. Shallum the son of Jabesh began to reign in the 9th and 30th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria. from Mahanaim, the son of Gadi. For Mahanaim, the son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria and smote Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and slew him and reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Shallum, his conspiracy which he made, behold, are they written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Mahanaim smote Tipsah and all that were therein, and the coast thereof from Tirzah, because they opened not to him. Therefore he smote it, and all the women therein that were with child he ripped up. In the 9th and 30th year of Azariah, the king of Judah began to conquer. Amen. Mahanaim, the son of Gadi, to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, and to Israel to sin, and reigned 20 years in Samaria. Did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, departed not all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Pul, the king of Assyria, came against the land, and Mahanaim gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. And Mahanaim exacted the money of Israel, even of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king. So the king of Assyria turned back and stayed not there in the land. And the rest of the acts of Mahanaim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles and Kings of Israel? And Mahanaim slept with his fathers, and Pekah his son reigned in his stead. In the 15th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah the son of Mahanaim began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. But Pekah, the son of Remaliah, a captain of his, conspired against him, and smote him in Samaria, in the palace of the king's house, with Argob and Ariel, and with him 50 men of the Gileadites, and he killed him, and reigned in his room. And the rest of the acts of Pekah, and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And in the 250th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah the son of Remaliah began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from his sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon, and Abel Beth Maacah, and Janoah, and Kedesh, and Azor, and Gilead, and Galilee, and all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. And Ushiah the son of Elah made conspiracy against Pekah the son of Remaliah, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead in the 20th year of Jotham the son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, begat Jotham the son of Uzziah the king of Judah to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. Howbeit the high places were not removed, and the people sacrificed and burned incense still in the high places. He built higher gates of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In those days the Lord began to send against Judah Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah the son of Remaliah. And Jotham slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Ahaz his son reigned in his stead. May the Lord bless the reading of his word in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.